Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Let me ask you something. Why do they always wake up after you're gone? Why do they start realizing your worth when you've already stopped caring? Here's the truth. They never thought you'd walk away. They believed your love was endless. They assumed you'd always be there, answering texts, fixing things, holding them up. They thought your heart was their safety net. But then one day, you disappeared. No arguments, no warnings, just silence. And that silence? It shattered their illusion. Now they scroll through old photos. They revisit your messages. They check your status but never text. They wonder where that warmth went, the same warmth they took for granted. See, your silence became the loudest message you could ever send. It said, "I'm done being your emotional punching bag. I'm done giving where I'm not respected. This isn't about playing games. This is about reclaiming your peace. It's about remembering that your value doesn't need to be shouted. It needs to be felt. Because real power doesn't announce itself. It disappears and leaves the whole room cold." Before we dive in, I want you to drop this in the comments. My silence speaks louder than my pain. Let's go deeper. Let's uncover exactly why they always miss you when you're gone, and how to use that silence as your ultimate strength. Number 1, your absence exposes their dependence. When you stop showing up, the truth shows up instead. People like to think they're in control until you pull your energy away. They believe they don't need you until the day they can't find another version of you. Your absence reveals what your presence once covered. It unmasks their dependency on your validation, your support, your light. When you leave, their confidence shakes, their routine changes, and their ego starts to crack. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That's what your silence represents, mastery. You are no longer reacting. You are no longer begging to be seen. You've become untouchable because you've learned how to be still while others lose their balance. And when you stay silent, when you don't rush to explain, defend, or chase, they panic. They start asking themselves questions like, why aren't they responding? Did I lose them for good? Were they stronger than I thought? And that's exactly the point. Your absence becomes the mirror they've been avoiding. And in that reflection, they see what they lost. Not just a person, but peace. Because you weren't just someone they knew. You were the calm in their chaos. Stop filling the silence. Stop running back to fix what broke you. Let them feel your absence. Let them feel the weight of your energy missing. Because in that quiet, they'll finally understand you were never replaceable. You were the light. Number 2, your silence destroys their illusion of control. Let's get this straight. Silence is not weakness. It's a weapon, a quiet one, a sharp one, the kind that slices through manipulation and control without you saying a single word. When you stop reacting, you take away the one thing they depended on most, your emotional response. That's what fueled their ego. That's what kept them feeling powerful. Every time you argued, explained, or defended yourself, you gave them control over your peace. But when you went silent, that power shattered. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Your silence is that realization in action. You finally stopped trying to control what's outside of you and started mastering what's inside. When they send that text and you don't answer, they replay it over and over. When they post something hoping to get your attention and you stay quiet, they crumble inside. Because the silence you give them, it's not emptiness, it's reflection. And they hate what they see. They start to realize they can't control you anymore. You're not the same person they could manipulate with half love and hollow apologies. You've learned how to detach, calmly, silently, powerfully. Your silence says, I no longer react to drama. I no longer explain myself to those who never listened. I no longer hand over my peace just to keep someone comfortable. That's not coldness. That's self-respect. And the best part? They'll pretend it doesn't bother them. They'll act unbothered, post something carefree, maybe even try to make you jealous. But deep down, they're screaming. Because your silence has done what their words never could. It's made them face themselves. From now on, don't feed their ego with your reactions. When they reach out after ignoring you, when they try to test your patience, breathe and do nothing. Let silence speak. Because silence doesn't beg, doesn't chase, and doesn't explain, it reclaims. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence is my power, not my punishment. Number 3. The moment you went silent, they felt small. They thought your silence meant defeat. They thought it meant you were broken, that you were hurting in silence, waiting for them to come back. But they were wrong. Dead wrong. Because the moment you went quiet, that's when the balance shifted. That's when they started to feel small. You see, silence exposes people. It takes away the noise, the excuses, the games, and leaves only truth. And truth has a funny way of making guilty hearts uncomfortable. When you stopped speaking, they were forced to face the consequences of their own actions, without your words to soften the blow. Epictetus once said, "What upsets people is not things themselves, but their judgments about these things." Your silence didn't hurt them because of what it was. It hurt them because of what it meant. It meant they were no longer in control. It meant they lost access to you. It meant you finally saw through them and walked away without turning back. They can't stand that kind of strength, because deep down they knew they never had real power over you, only the illusion of it. Your silence shattered that illusion into pieces. They keep checking your profile. They wonder what you're doing, who you're with, if you've moved on. They overthink every moment, every memory, every word you ever said. And while they're busy drowning in their thoughts, you're out there, healing, growing, leveling up. Silence doesn't mean you lost. It means you've graduated. You've learned that some battles are won not by fighting, but by walking away. The silence you gave them is a mirror, and what they see in it isn't pretty. They see their arrogance, their lies, their selfishness, and they hate it. They hate how they underestimated you. They hate that the one person they thought would always respond finally didn't. That's why they can't let go. That's why your absence feels louder than your presence ever did. Every time you feel tempted to break your silence, remember this. The power has already shifted. The moment you stopped explaining, they started regretting. Don't hand that power back. Stay calm, stay distant. Let them feel the weight of your absence. Number 4, your absence became their lesson. They didn't learn when you were available. They didn't change when you explained. They didn't listen when you cared. But the moment you disappeared, that's when they finally started to understand. That's when the lesson hit. Because absence teaches what presence could never say. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." Your absence was their change, the shift they never expected, the silence they couldn't control, the reality they couldn't escape. You became the storm that forced them to see their own destruction. When you were there, they took your kindness as weakness, your patience as permission, your effort as something guaranteed. But when you withdrew that energy, When you stopped showing up, their entire world shook. Suddenly, they realized your presence wasn't ordinary. It was power disguised as care. It was light they thought would never fade. Now they sit with regret, pretending they're fine, scrolling through memories like ghosts of what they threw away. They tell themselves you'll come back, that this silence is temporary, but deep down, they know. You're gone in a way that silence can't be undone. You see, your absence didn't just create distance. It created clarity. It revealed the truth about who they are and what they valued. Without your energy feeding their ego, their confidence collapsed. Without your words softening their mistakes, they had to face their reflection, raw and unfiltered. That's the power of your withdrawal. It forces awareness. It commands respect. It teaches value through loss. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Don't waste another second explaining yourself to people who only understand your worth once you're gone. Your silence is your boundary. Your distance is your strength. They thought they were punishing you by not reaching out. But the truth is, you punished them with peace. You replaced chaos with calm, and now they're addicted to the noise you no longer give. Stop feeling guilty for walking away. You didn't abandon them, you saved yourself. Use your absence to rebuild your energy, your confidence, your peace. Let the distance be your teacher, not your burden. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My absence teaches the lesson my words never could. Number 5. Your silence broke their control. When you stop responding, you take back every ounce of power they ever had over you. The moment you go silent, the game changes, because control needs reaction to survive. Without your words, without your energy, without your validation, their power crumbles. Epictetus said, "No person is free who is not master of himself." And that's exactly what your silence is. Mastery. It's self-command, disguised as distance. They once thought they could pull your strings, trigger your emotions, make you chase clarity that never came. But now, your quiet has become their prison. They can't manipulate what they can't reach. Think about it. They used to test you, sending mixed messages, ignoring your boundaries, seeing how much disrespect you'd tolerate before you'd finally break. But this time, you didn't break. You didn't argue. You didn't chase. You just stopped. And that silence hit them harder than any words ever could. They replay it in their mind. The unread messages, the unanswered calls, the peace that replaced the chaos. Because your silence tells a truth louder than confrontation ever could. You no longer care enough to respond. And that realization shakes them to the core. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. You've realized it now. You're no longer reacting to what they do. You're no longer dancing to their rhythm. You're operating from peace, not pain. They can't stand it. Your silence exposes their weakness. It shows that their influence was temporary, that their words no longer land, that their importance has expired. You've flipped the power dynamic. You're not in the cage anymore. They are, and the door is locked from your side. Every time you hold your tongue, you rise higher. Every time you resist that urge to explain, you become untouchable, because silence isn't passive. It's strategic. It's your proof that you no longer need to prove anything. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." And bravery isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. The kind of quiet that drives them insane because they can't read it, they can't control it, and they can't escape it. Next time you feel that itch to respond, pause. Ask yourself, would this give away my power? If the answer is yes, stay silent. Control the space. Make them feel the weight of losing your access. Number 6. Your absence revealed their dependence. When you pulled back, when you stopped showing up, they were forced to face something they never wanted to admit. They needed your energy more than they ever realized. They fed off your presence, your responses, your care. You were their emotional oxygen, and when you took that away, they started gasping for air. Marcus Aurelius said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." And that's exactly what happened to them. They valued your attention, your availability, your kindness, but they took it for granted. They assumed it would always be there. They built comfort on the illusion of your presence, but your silence, it shattered that illusion like glass. You see, people don't truly see your worth when you're standing right in front of them. They see it when your footsteps fade, when the door closes, when the messages stop coming. That's when your absence becomes the mirror they can't avoid. It shows them just how much they relied on your validation, your energy, your warmth. They told themselves they were fine without you, that they didn't need you, but silence exposes the truth. Because deep down, they're scrolling through memories, replaying conversations, checking your profile when no one's watching, wondering if you still care. They're haunted not by your words, but by the void you left behind. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." They wasted yours. They wasted your love, your patience, your forgiveness. And now your absence has become their punishment. It's poetic justice. They taught you to live without them, and now they must learn to live without you. Your silence made them see the truth, that they never had control over you. They only had access, and you had the power to revoke that access at any time. Now, they're realizing what that means. Every day without your presence feels colder, emptier, quieter, because you were the energy that gave their chaos meaning. You were the calm that made their noise bearable. But don't forget this. Your silence is not revenge, it's realignment. It's you stepping back into your peace, your purpose, your strength. You didn't disappear to hurt them, you disappeared to heal yourself. That's the difference between weakness and wisdom. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly, and neither is self-respect." Every day you choose silence over reaction, every time you choose distance over drama, you're rebuilding your power. Piece by piece. Stay focused on your healing. Every time you feel tempted to reach out, channel that energy into yourself. Read, train, create, grow. Let your progress speak for you. Let them miss the version of you they'll never have access to again. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My absence reveals their weakness, but builds my strength. Number 7, silence makes you unpredictable, and that's your power. Power doesn't come from shouting the loudest. Power comes from being unpredictable, unreadable, and unshakable. And nothing makes you more unpredictable than silence, because silence leaves them guessing. It leaves them anxious. It makes them question what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and whether they ever truly had control in the first place. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And when you choose not to react, when you choose silence, you flip the entire dynamic. You stop playing their game. You stop feeding their ego. You stop giving them clues to manipulate. Suddenly, they can't predict your next move. And people fear what they can't control. When you used to respond immediately, they felt secure. When you tried to explain yourself, they felt superior. When you defended your worth, they felt validated. But the moment you stopped, The moment your energy went cold, they started spiraling, because your silence creates uncertainty, and uncertainty destroys their sense of control. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." That's exactly what silence does. It separates you from their chaos. You're no longer reacting to the bait, the guilt trips, or the emotional games. You're standing in your own calm, letting them drown in their confusion. That's how you win, not by fighting, but by refusing to play. Understand this. Silence doesn't mean weakness, it means strategy. You are choosing your energy wisely. You're no longer explaining your value to people who are committed to misunderstanding it. You're no longer giving free access to your attention, and that drives them insane because they can't decode silence. Think about it. When you go quiet, they start creating stories. Did I lose them? Are they talking to someone else? Did they move on? Their mind becomes their punishment. Every second of your silence is a reflection of their own insecurity. You don't have to do a single thing. They destroy themselves trying to figure you out. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Silence is bravery. It's the refusal to let emotions enslave you. You're not ignoring them out of bitterness. You're protecting your peace out of strength. Because when your emotions are controlled, your life is controlled. Next time someone tries to provoke you, don't respond. Don't explain. Don't react. Just watch. Let your silence make them wonder while you stay grounded in your peace. Every moment you don't respond is a reminder that you control yourself, and they don't. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence is power. My calm is control. Number 8. Your absence is the final truth. They see what they lost. Silence is powerful, but absence is devastating. When you stop being immediately available, when you stop bending over backward to be seen, when your presence becomes scarce, that's when reality hits them. They finally notice what they took for granted. They finally see the weight of your value, and make no mistake, absence cuts deeper than any argument, any explanation, or any plea ever could. Seneca said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." Your absence is a message to them. You are no longer part of the cycle of their games. You are no longer a safety net for their ego, a free source of attention, or someone they can control. When they feel your absence, it awakens recognition of what they lost, and often it awakens regret too. Absence forces reflection. They replay every moment they dismissed, every opportunity they wasted, every kindness they overlooked. And unlike words, absence cannot be misinterpreted. It doesn't beg, it doesn't justify, it simply exists. And in that existence, they feel the truth of your worth. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You cannot control their thoughts, their regret, or their actions, but you can control your presence or your absence. By stepping back, by reclaiming your energy, you assert a level of authority they can't compete with. You stop being an option. You stop being a tool. You stop being available on their terms. And in doing so, you show them that the person they tried to manipulate is no longer theirs to hold. Set boundaries that prioritize your peace. Do not compromise your time or energy to appease those who do not appreciate you. Step back from their sphere, engage fully in your own growth, and let absence do the talking. Their realization of your value will come on its own, and that is more powerful than any words you could ever speak. Now listen closely, because this is the truth you need to ingrain in your mind. Your silence, your absence, your refusal to chase, these are not acts of weakness. They are acts of unshakable power. Every moment you resist the urge to explain, every time you step back instead of bending, every boundary you set, you reclaim a part of yourself that no one can take. You are no longer controlled by their whims, no longer defined by their approval, and no longer available at their convenience. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Master yourself. Master your emotions. Master your presence. When you do, you turn the tables completely. You stop being the one they can manipulate, the one they can predict, the one they can hurt easily. You become untouchable. Your absence, your silence becomes a force that demands respect, reflection, and recognition. And here's the most beautiful part. It doesn't just affect them, it transforms you. You grow stronger, calmer, wiser, and more confident with every passing day you refuse to compromise your power. So, right now, make this decision. Stop chasing. Stop explaining. Stop giving away what is yours to protect. Stand firm. Walk your path. Let your silence do the work. Let your absence reveal your value. Let them wonder, question, and regret, because you've chosen yourself first. If you felt this truth resonate with you, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I am the master of my presence, and my silence is my power. Remember, every step you take in self-control, every moment you choose peace over reaction, every time you honor your worth, you are winning. The people who underestimated you are realizing it now, but the real victory belongs to you. Stand tall, speak less, move forward, and never let anyone diminish the power that lives inside of you. If you found this video empowering, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. More wisdom, more strategies, and more ways to reclaim your power are coming. Your silence wins. They already lost. And you're unstoppable.